I'm very, very happy that today we have a wonderful special guest, William Welter, Principal Oboe at the Chicago Symphony. Not only my former student, but my successor. I don't get to say this too often. Um, and I've known Will since he was studying in Oberlin, and I'm not sure if I, as all of you know, I prefer my students refer to me as Mr. Izotov, and I like the formality of the connection. And Will has become such a rising star. He's become such a success so quickly. But when he was already principal oboist of the Chicago Symphony, he still referred me as Mr. Izotov. And I talked to his other teacher, Robert Walters, and we're like, okay, this is just strange. He's our colleague now, and sort of we said, okay, let him get tenured first, and that'll be like our parting gift to him. So now that you're tenured, maybe drop the formality. But he actually did it himself, because when he got tenured, he sort of reverted to something that I think is so much more endearing. He calls me Uncle Eugene. Do you call Uncle Robert also?
Uncle Rob, yeah.
Uncle
Uncle
Rob.
Rob,
So
please.
I think it's really endearing, and all the jokes aside, I think that it really warms my heart to have somebody who is so incredibly successful and so incredibly young. He could have been a student still, working on his master's or doctor's program somewhere. And it's just, Will is one of the stories that I find really reassuring, that when you play by the rules, when you don't take advantage of whatever can benefit you due to this or another reason, whatever is fashionable or correct, Will has earned his place in one of the best orchestras in this country, because he's a wonderful player, he's a wonderful musician, and he's a great person. So I'm very pleased that this has happened to him. Very happy that we were going to have him here in person, but thanks to Zoom, we can still have him here during this year. So thank you, Will. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I just want to, first of all, extend my biggest thanks to Mr. Izotov for having me do this class, and having the chance to meet you guys and re-meet some of you. And yeah, please, just for this class, please call me Will. My own students call me Mr. Welter, but Wentao and I are old friends, and we were actually classmates at Interlochen together, and that just wouldn't be right if Wentao. So please refer to me as Will for this class, and it's just such an honor to be invited. When Eugene Izotov calls and says, please give a master class, it is a duty, an artistic duty, to say yes, absolutely, because I mean, he's one of the great teachers of our instrument ever. And it's just fantastic to be invited to participate in one of your classes. Anyway, shall we get started?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're playing the Clara Schumann romances, 1 and 3. Before you get started, could you tell me a little bit about yourself? How long have you studied with Mr. Izotov? Where you from? How long you played the oboe? This thing.
Yeah, I'm a junior here at SFCM, so this is my 3rd year with Mr. Izotov. Um, yes, and I'm from Korea. I went to performing arts school there, and then I've been playing oboe for more than 10 years now.
Oh, great. Awesome. So, are you playing this Clara Schumann romances for a recital or a competition? What's the occasion? Just for fun?
We have a studio recital on May 15th, so I'll be playing the whole piece, like first, second, third movement.
Fantastic. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing it. Take it away.
Oh, thank you.
Bravissimo.
Thank you.
Wow, that is not easy, and I don't envy you for playing that. Man, that's quite a challenging piece to just pick up and play cold. And you did a wonderful job. A beautiful, beautiful sound, and very relaxing. You know, you could lull off to sleep in a good way. So this is violin music, right? And it's like that romantic style of, you know, great violinist and piano just giving recital that's so captivating. It was written for, what was this? Do you know who it was written for? Famous violinist?
Not. I know it says like it's dedicated to Joseph, someone, but I didn't know.
Joachim. So he was like a fancy violin guy, and I think a lot of at this time period, if you listen to, I mean, there aren't any recorded examples, I don't think, because it was, you know, mid 1800s or whatever, but there was so much drama happening, right? It's not just one character, it's almost kind of like borderline mentally ill, right? How many different things are happening, and what I want you to do more is don't be afraid to make, you know, to go outside of the comfort zone. Everything you played from the first note to the last note, it was perfect. It was nice intonation, nice sound, beautiful, even, but I didn't always, you know, with this sort of thing, the music takes you up and then it down, and you never know what it's going to do. And so in the forte sections and the big loud sections, really, you know, rock that high E string, you know, full bow. And then in the piano sections, don't be afraid to take a little bit of time and let the atmosphere shift. So maybe just try, forgive my abstract ideas, but if you could just try it again from just the third movement, and see if you can create a little bit more drama. You have these hairpins and a wonderful piano dynamic. What kind of piano dynamic is this to you? Is it like a soft and calm, or is it like soft but like uncertain? What is the affect that you're going for?
The latter one, probably soft and uncertain.
The louder, wait.
Softer and uncertain.
Okay, so we have this, like, there's motion under the surface of the lake, right? The current is happening, right? But the waters are still, sort of thing. So find this energy within yourself and start again and put yourself in that mindset. Because right now it sounds like, as one of my other teachers, Walters, would say, dutiful rendering of notation. So let's get away from that and bring the drama. You know, it's just you on stage alone, and it sounds wonderful. You don't have to be afraid that anything's going to sound bad, because it won't. Push yourself.
Okay.
Good. Awesome. So we're in 3/4, and the 3/4 naturally wants to. The first beat is the strong, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I think without overdoing it, show the you know what I mean, the agogics of it. Strong, weak, let it go to the appoggiatura. So just try that much. Bravo. Okay, now try one more time and forget that we talked about that and just play over the bar line to the appoggiatura. But remember, we talked about it, but don't actually do it with the accent and accent. Bravo. Okay, that's so I'm feeling something now, right? Okay, keep going. Okay, good. Okay, thank you. So this same little motive happens over and over, right? Many times throughout this movement, and I want you to think about why is she repeating the same thing? It's like you have to have a clear idea of the story you want to convey throughout this movement and throughout the piece. Like know what the sequence of events that you're sharing is going to be. So in particular, that little play it different maybe every time. Develop it. Maybe one time you play it noticeably softer with a different, it just sounds a bit the same every time it comes back. And it's a lot of the same material. So if it's played the same repeatedly, it gets laborious on the ears. So see, maybe start a little bit softer and develop it. Play around with it, just as an experiment. Oh, sorry. Could you start without the da, but okay, thank you. But now I hear da. It's not da, but remember, don't be afraid to begin the note nicely on the front instead of swelling into it. Try it one time like that. Okay, sorry. So since we're in 3/4, the strong beat, first beat, it's immediate. It's not 1, 2, 3. It's 1, 2, 3, and I'm hearing a bit of a swell that's after the strong part, I think.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. Try it one time, maybe without over accentuating. I know we talked about the strong, weak, but if you do it less the first two, when you finally get to the appoggiatura, it'll have more impact. So try it one more time. Doing great. Just play between the notes over the bar line. Don't, re-emphasize every single bar.
Sorry, I missed my 2-minute warning, so we're about 1 minute away from time.
Okay,
thanks.
Thank you. Okay, great. Okay, so the last minute, we can just do that phrase. So how would you feel about, when you go back to the, let's see, measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, measure 6. You can play it maybe slightly less.
Oh, okay.
Would you try that?
From the top, from the beginning.
Yes. There's no hairpin there though, is there?
I do have a hairpin.
Oh, you do?
7, yeah.
Oh, okay. Must be a different edition. Okay, want to keep going?
Keep going.
Sure. Okay, thanks. I think when it comes back, especially at the end of that diminuendo, it could be a lot softer.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. Okay, thank you. Okay, now this is just a little trick. Whenever you see the crescendo marking, I like to drop like crazy, like a very uncomfortable piano. So then you can make the crescendo happen. For instance, where you just stopped, measure 22, that A natural, there was a beautiful taper at the end of the A natural, but then the B natural following it, you actually played it quite a bit louder, which doesn't really set you up for that crescendo.
Okay.
So I want you to think about, when you're listening to recordings or playing with your accompanist, notice where the harmonic shifts are, and really, it's uncomfortable. The oboe is uncomfortable to play, and especially to get the kind of dynamic range that is necessary to make a solo piece like this as dramatic as it should be. Find the places and find tricks. Like if I start really soft here, does it make the crescendo more apparent? Because in music like this, there's no accidents with expressive markings. Like that's bringing those out is how you can elevate your performance to have more drama and honor the wishes of the composer even more. So if there's a crescendo, I want to hear a crescendo. You know what I mean? And when it's piano, it doesn't mean comfortable, it means piano. Mm-hmm. Okay. Bravo, Jini, you sound fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jini.
Thank you.
So, Wentao, you'll go next. Just do it.
I'll start with the Beethoven, the opening phrase of the second.
Beethoven, Baroque Symphony?
Yeah, Beethoven 3, yeah.
Bravo. Are you going to keep going, or is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Bravo, Wentao, sounds fantastic. Both of you guys so far, like the best sound, the reeds and the quality of the tone is just exceptional. You guys all sound wonderful. I guess Mr. Izotov sets a good example and everyone follows suit. Fantastic. So,
as does Russ deLuna, my colleague.
Yeah. Russ deLuna, yes.
We do what we can. Thank you, Will.
You're welcome. Okay, so could you talk to me a little bit about what's happening here? Not about the music, but like what's the story? What's the story here? We have Funeral March, right? But do you have an image? What do you think of before you start playing this?
You mean the story or musically?
Yeah, like a story, like if you're gonna write it down in a book or something, or you're gonna have a movie. What's happening in this section in the movie?
I mean, the beginning, I think Beethoven was mad or sad. I mean, since Napoleon just claimed himself as a king, so is for me the beginning is just on the sad or mad. The marching just start the opening phrase, dom bom bom, then keep going, then until the few bars later, the G sol fa mi re do di, yeah, probably it's even like angry or something. Then I did something color change, down down down, the re mi fa sol la, then go to really soft.
Yeah, I got that. I really enjoyed that shift you did. That's fantastic. Now, everything you said, I believe that you believe it, and I believe it from you, and I feel the same way. I guess why I asked this question was just when I was preparing for auditions, I did a lot of library time where I'd watch videos and this sort of thing. And I can't remember, I'm sure my colleagues in the San Francisco Symphony are going to know exactly what I'm talking about as soon as I mention it. You can remind me of the name. But Michael Tilson Thomas did some like video movies of different, like from the score or something like that, where he talks about different pieces. You guys know what that is?
Score.
What it's called?
Score.
It's called what?
Keeping scores.
Keeping score.
Keeping score.
Keeping score. And I've watched all of them, but the Beethoven 3 one is very cool. And he talks about this image, this scene that is the funeral march of the second movement of the Eroica Symphony. And it's like this crowd gathers to, you know, send off someone passed away, the great leader passed away, and this throng of people has gathered in the streets of wherever, and they're processing down the road. And this is like the orchestral accompaniment that begins the movement. But the oboe solo, it's like a single individual that is so profoundly impacted by the passing of this person that they feel the need to sort of, like a cantor or something, stand up and profess their singular experience. Oh, yeah. So I think, I thought that was just awesome, and that stuck with me. And so if with this, there's obviously like the pulse and the basic things, the pitch and the timing, but the hardest thing and most gratifying part of this solo, in my opinion, is preparing to play that first G. So I encourage you to take some time before you start, take some breathe in and out, think of the magnitude of the scenario that you are participating in, and then start to speak. But don't begin until you are completely convinced that you are overwhelmed by what just happened. So you have to be a bit of an actor here. So I just want to hear the first, I don't have perfect pitch, but the first 3 Gs.
Okay.
Okay. Good, bravo. Okay, so the first G, I don't know if my true sound is on or not. So that's not the right read either. Forgive my sound if my true sound is not on. Maybe it is on. Not sure if it worked or not. But basically, the first G, you don't want to lose the momentum. I heard a bit of da, 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 da. Keep the energy of that first G. Da, 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 da. It doesn't change. It's like not boof, 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 but see if you can try that. And excellent sound. Keep the compression inside you, and don't let up. Even if there's a rest, have the air like you're still playing. Okay, so do it one more time.
Sorry.
Okay, that's better. See if you can. Okay, just play 1 G and imagine that you're articulating, and don't change the quality of the sound. No da, 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 nothing. Just keep the same concentration of air and compact quality of sound. Just try holding 1 G and imagine that you're articulating, but don't articulate. Okay, one more time. Can you even have more like pressure in your low stomach? Okay, good. Can you try one more time? That's it. Okay, good. So when you're practicing this excerpt and simulating the audition experience, be very aware of how you take your first breath. Make sure it's super low, like really low. Fill out the belt, you know, and be relaxed, as you just did. Okay, try adding the tongue now. Good. Okay. kind of come away. Don't go da 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 dee, but instead da da dee da da dee da dee da. The important thing is the E flat to C, the appoggiatura there. So don't emphasize anything else. Sol, 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 re, do, re. Right, I'm saying the wrong notes. Re, do, si, do, re, mi, do. And then sol, but not so much. Sol, fa, mi, re, do, mi, re. So the second mi, re is less than the first, right? Mi, do. And then soft. Do, 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 and even less. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, or do, I can't sing my solfege. Re, mi, fa, sol, la. And then make the la start super quiet, crescendo like crazy over the bar line. La, fa, mi, re, mi. So just try that much. And remember, it's the appoggiaturas and then the sol is big, and then diminuendo. Sure. It's a lot of different things I just said. Okay, there's a connection that I'm missing. This is so nitpicky, I know, and you already played it so beautifully, but that's what Masterclass is for, I guess. So the third G, da, D, D, you have to connect that G to the D. Da, di, da, di, da, di. And it's almost like I'm hearing da, 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 di, da, di, which is, just try to connect it. Just practice once, starting in the G and squeezing the abs. The way to connect the notes is to create the inner tension. So controlled release of the air with huge amount of you have to sort of create the physical conditions of legato within yourself before like expecting the oboe to do it, right? So it's like create the conditions of, it's like what Mr. Izotov does when he squeezes the arm. You got to do the arm squeeze in between the G and the D.
Okay, yep.
Sorry, Wentao, I heard a one note phrase. Da, da, da. Remember that it has to, it's a group. Da, 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 not da, da, da.
Sure.
Bravo. Okay, Wentao, excellent. You did such a nice color change on the re, that part. Mi, re, mi, fa, sol, la. But a little trick that I do personally is I actually make a diminuendo there. Re, less. Re, and then diminuendo. Mi, fa, sol, la, which creates a lot more drama for when you finally get over the bar line.
Sure, yeah.
Sorry, I'm doing 2-minute warnings, please.
Thank you. Sorry, can you be even less? Just start with the, I know it's the end of the previous phrase, but do the mi, re, and then continue. Sorry. As there has to be, so it's the appoggiatura, the E flat important, the D a release. Don't go mi, re, but mi, re, re. Good. Okay, sorry, stop. You went out. The third D, play it less than the ones that's dotted. Da, da, ti, da, da, like that. Da, da.
Sure.
And then sustain that new level of piano. Okay, sorry. Now, this is the tricky business. We see notes moving up, right? Da da dee da dee, but it's not. You can't do that. You have to do the opposite. Otherwise, the crescendo on the A flat, it will have no impact. So if you crescendo the A flat, where are you going to go? So instead, diminuendo again. Delay. It's I just watched a movie. It's what is it? Forget the name of it, but it's like satisfaction delay or something like this. You have to delay the pleasure of the listener. You don't want to give it away. Hold on to it as long as you can, then go. And this is going to be very impactful. So I think we're probably running out of time, but Wentao, it's so great to hear you. You sound fantastic, and I miss seeing you. It's great to see you.
Good to see you again.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Bravo, Wentao. Thank you. Belinda, you look like you're geared up to go next.
Great. So could you just tell me a little about yourself, where you're from, how long, what year, this sort of thing?
Yeah, this is my first year PSD student. I'm from New York. I did my master's at Rice and my undergrad at the University of Michigan.
Awesome. Great. And are you playing the C.P. Bach?
Yeah, I'm going to play the first movement.
Fantastic. Okay. Go for it. Bravo. Bravo, bravo, bravo. That was fun. I like this piece. I think C.P. Bach is always a delight. He wrote the other piece right with the harpsichord. That's pretty quirky also. So it's a bit unusual to start a Baroque sonata with a slow movement, is it not? It's a little bit odd, but he did it. Okay, so what do you like? What is your biggest priority in like playing this? Like, are you trying to just get from the beginning to the end, or show the different voices, or what's your game plan?
I think just how this piece is, there's just an extreme amount of contrast. There's a lot of questions and answers, but I think the hardest part is keeping it flowing and keeping it very seamless. I'm still trying to work on that. It's like, instead of making it very fragmented, I'm trying to get the bigger picture. So it's not
okay.
Stop.
I think that it could, so with some Baroque music, a lot of Baroque music, I mean, since the like 60s revival of like historical performance practice and all the revisitation of these like treated quants and all this stuff, there's a lot of opinions about how one should treat music, like Baroque music, right, with large leaps and things, and not to sustain through them. And I guess the question is, I'm not completely convinced that you're either in one, like it's not like overly romantic and it's not quite, I think it could actually be more segmented in a weird way, like maybe know where like the ends of things are and then let them breathe, and then new sections, right? So you just want to like try it from the beginning and really just take time, like play the first G, take time, and then you know what I mean? Like really, because the danger is it's so rhetorical, it's so like person talking to themselves, and many keep going back to this, I'm not crazy, and many voices and many different ideas. So just try to, like, if there's a sequence that's happening, like identify it and make that be one character. If there's a different sequence happening, different sort of structure, make that something else, and then let these different motives sort of play together. So one more time from the beginning, don't be chicken about that first G. It's just like boom. Okay, great. Okay, one more time, and don't make such a nice ending on the low note, the bass notes. Just like let it be, let it stop, and then start. And then when you get to the high stuff, just be in tempo. Beam, boom, boom. Then we start to dance there. So try that again and make the first few bars, that section, a complete section, instead of being like, boom, I'm gonna do something nice here, boom, I'm gonna do something else nice. You know what I mean? Get the bigger picture through that. Okay, good. Okay, right there. Dee da dim, that nice appoggiatura. Dee dum, and then we have this huge leap to a low D. This is written for flute, and I mean the traverso at the time was very primitive, and to do such a great leap would have taken a pretty dramatic adjustment of embouchure. So, and despite that, I think that the composer, it isn't it's you know, make the, if you see a huge leap, quants would say anything larger than a third, you have to kind of reset, and that is much larger than a third. One more time from the beginning, and on the melodic notes, try not to drag, just play them in time. Okay. Pulse is really important. Sorry to stop you, Belinda. Can you breathe? Let the breath prepare the note, okay? And then release. Boom, release. Like a wave, like crashing over the rock, right? Okay, good. Right there, good. The motion wants to go to the don't hold it. But just let the line just go. One more time. Okay, good, thank you. Okay, that low C is more, right? It's a simple progression. 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean? So don't be afraid. Really, I want those notes to ring. Don't control them so much. The low notes need to ring and to resonate like a double bass. Okay, so, thank you. Release the note. Just play the first note and release it. Boom. Breathe with me. Good. So release it and then play the next part.
Take time.
Yeah, take time. Let the first note ring and then play. Sorry, more. Don't be afraid of the C. Just play the C. Yeah. Okay, good. So on the trill, lean on the strong note. T-I-dum, T-I-dum. Hold it. Don't just trill. Hold the dissonance. On the C. C to B flat.
Okay, yeah.
More. T-I-dum, T-I-dum. Good. Okay, want to try that much?
Sorry. 2 minutes, please. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, why don't you keep going? Keep going in that case.
So just take more on all of these phrase markings.
Yeah, I mean, Baroque music, particularly this style, like solo music, it's completely rhetorical, and you have to like present it in a way where the listener can process. And there are so many different, like C.P. Bach is all over the place harmonically. It's like weird modulations, weird stuff happening, which is unique to him. And it happens in a way that isn't exactly predictable. Like you're not going to go sing it. Most people aren't going to whistle C.P. Bach all day, So you have to make it palatable. And I think by doing that, you just don't make a big run-on sentence. The rules of Barrett, the rules of like how you play a Brahms 1 solo or something, they do not apply here in the traditional sense that we think. It's like you don't phrase over the bar line. Like it has its own structure. So I would encourage you to just listen to some don't imitate completely, but listen to a variety of recordings of people playing on the flute, on the oboe, all these different things, and sort of maybe read some of the literature and think of it more as an exercise in style other than anything else, because it's so, these guys, it's all sprezzatura and things like that. Like you just stand up on a stage and you play this as though it's nothing, but you have to have pacing and, it was really good though. It's a difficult piece just as it is. Good, thank you. Sorry to stop. So here, I want you to get away from thinking about notes. Dee da dee. No, it's not about notes. It's about dee da dee da dee. Okay? Good. So now when you get to low C, that's a different idea. Dee da dee dee dum. Reset. Dee da da dee. You know what I mean? Reset there. Okay, good. So then that one there, I gotta find where you were. Yeah, you have these 16th notes. Sorry, could you? I wasn't looking at the music. Could you do one more time from si re fa si la do mi la? Okay, good. Belinda. Okay, this is another thing I just wanted to say since we're running out of time. You have a tendency of playing a note and then swelling on the note. This was similar to what Jini was doing. With like the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 kind of thing. You go dee da dee da da. Make sure it's right where it needs to be, and the nature of that B flat to A, the B flat is naturally weighted, so you don't have to go dee da. You can just go dee da because it already has that lilt. Okay. Next thing I wanted to say, da dee da dee da dee. The next little bit you're playing, can you just continue after the appoggiatura from the low C quickly? Good. Okay, right there. So in my opinion, the important notes harmonically are the last two 16th notes, right? So I would almost throw away the first ones and then dee dum, dee da, dee dum, dee dum, dee. You see what I mean? Like the last two are the ones you need to bring out, in my opinion. Okay, bravo. But not dee da da da, but dee da da da. Okay. And now we have a B natural, and it's the same sort of form as it was earlier. D, dee da da, dee da, dee dum, dee da dee. Am I singing horrible? Anyway, I think we're out of time, but it's absolutely wonderful, and enjoy this piece because it is a gem for our instrument, and it's like you can play this till you're 90 years old, never get sick of it. Bravo to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Belinda. Bravo. Adam.
Oh, you're playing the Debacle Concerto. Could you tell me a bit about yourself? Where are you from?
Yeah, sure.
What year?
I'm originally from Montreal, Canada. I did my undergrad there at the Montreal Conservatory, and it's my second year doing my master's degree.
Fantastic. Awesome. All right, let's hear it. This is a riveting piece. Bravo! Always a showstopper. What a great piece. So this is organ music, really, isn't it?
Yeah, harpsichord and organ, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great. So, wonderful. Okay. We need to make more than a string of notes. The greatest challenge with music like this and like the Pascoulis and all that noodly business is making it more than just a string of notes, right? Yeah. So let's just start right away at the beginning. I wasn't completely like the effect that your performance had on me was, this is clearly difficult, and he played it. He played it. I was focused on you achieving this oboistic feat. I wasn't, I heard Andras Schiff play this on the piano, and it was like, it was ethereal, and so and I know there's some great recordings of Oboe playing this as well, and it can work very well. So anyway, let's right away 3/8, right? But it's almost like it's every 2 bars. Let's go right from the beginning. So
yeah,
you have to play the low note, the low D. Okay, so okay, I always I tongue the first note. Oh, sorry. Would you mind articulating D da 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 dum? D da.
Oh, the second. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. Okay. So it's a bit of a run-on sentence. B da 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 da. We have to D da di da di dum. B I da di da di da di dum. B I da di da di da di da di da di da da di da 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 di di. Okay, sorry. It's too pushed. It's too ugly. The sound is ugly now. Dee da 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 dee da. Be relaxed. Play a little bit less, and it has to have a dance feel. Dee da da dee dee dum. B I da so da 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 dee dum. B I da dee da dee da dee dum. B I da dee da dee da da dee da dee da dee ya da 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 dee dee. Okay. Okay, good. And I really like this. It's almost very much like I don't know, one of the Passions or Magnificat or something. You have these different. It has to sound like Bach in that sense. So it's calm. It's like you see the line of oboes in like St. Matthew's Passion, or the Oboe de Mores, they're all like together. It has to have this sort of sonority. Think like. Easy. Baroque oboe, Marcel Poncelet or someone, heavy set, long hair, and mellow, dulcet tones. That's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear like wiry and punchy. Okay? It's organ music. Good. Bravo. Thank you. Now, let's hear that, as we know from Quant's it's up to you, honestly, because the resolution happens later. Okay, I like the way you did it, actually. I take back what I said.
Oh, the trillion.
Yeah, don't do it from above. Play it on the note. But hold it. Start it with
longer.
Holding. Yeah, not from above, obviously. One more time. Okay, sorry to stop. Release the first note. The purpose of re-articulating is so the D can be its own thing, such as what Belinda just did. Bomb. Now we have D da 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 dum. D da 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 dum. Bomb. D, and then articulate. D da 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 dum. Okay, good. Sorry. I like it. D da 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 da. All articulated.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, all time. D da 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 da. That's just, it's up to you how you want to do it, but that's my 2 cents. And then I think you're beginning the trill a little too soon. D da 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 D da 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 D da da da. You see? No, sorry. Can you hold? Yeah. Can you hold the note that the trill begins on just a little bit longer? You're going D da 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 D da 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 da. I want to hear D da 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 D da 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 D da da da. All tongue, please. Okay, there. Now we can put a trill on the cadence there. Dee da 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 dee.
From there.
Yeah, go one more time from the top, please. Okay, good. Sorry to stop you again, Adam. One other comment when you get to the dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee. You might articulate those two dee da dee da dee da dee da 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 dee, because those are the big harmonic. Yeah, you might just try that. It'll make it clearer, because if you slur all over it, it's like in like one of the Pascoli pieces where you have like note run run run, note run run run. You don't play note run run run, right?
Yeah, I see.
Okay. Okay, good. Stop. Thank you. So, dee da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee. Make it a subito piano almost, because it's accompanimental. Dee bum be da 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 dee dum dee ba dee dum ba dee dee da 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 dum. Okay, bravo, bravo. That's so much better. So now this next section needs to be serene. It has to be a new character here, okay? Sorry, can you play a little softer? A little softer. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So we have these Fs that are repeated. Ba, ba, I think they're Fs. Da,
yeah.
Dee, da, da, dee, dee, dee. So those have to be clear. Ba, da, 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 dee, 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 da, 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 dee. Okay? I'm not hearing the important harmonic notes. I'm hearing the notes that don't matter.
Okay.
Sorry to stop you. If you articulate dee da 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 dee da da, it will help solve the problem.
Okay, same. Okay.
Bravo. Thank you, Adam. Excellent. Now we have a big sequence. It's going up stepwise, I think, or is going up. The notes are getting higher. So you can start soft and serene. Step it up. And fall back and down. And start the sequence over again. And once you get that, you have the whole piece.
2 minutes, please. Thanks.
Sorry, start a little softer. You're going to have nowhere to go. Okay, bravo, bravo. Okay, one final, I'm sorry I'm not letting you play very much, but it sounds great. One final idea is with the way you treat the F, the harmonic notes, D, 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 you can play as you see fit with changing lengths and intensity. Okay, so once you get to the B flats, you can hold it long, dee da 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 dee da 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 dee, and then when you get to the other stuff, dee da 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 dee da 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 dee, and then make sure that hemiola comes out, dee da da dee da da dee.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Bravo. Last two things. Make sure you diminuendo there too, and so when you start that da 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 da, it doesn't just sound like the same thing over and over again. Make sure you make a shape with that. Last bit of advice with this piece, you may want to practice standing up against a wall or something to prevent yourself from moving. It's because your fingers still aren't completely secure. You're playing the wrong note here and there, which is fine. But if your body is like I'm gonna get it, that's the body language I'm getting. So if you practice, like maybe lie down in your bed or something, just practice with the fingers so you don't have to engage the rest of the body, and your fingers can be secure, or do the tapping or something to make sure you don't have to labor so much, because moving that much when you're playing something so simple as a da 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 da, it might be come an interference.
Okay.
Sounds great. I love that piece. That's such a good piece.
Thanks.
Bravo.
Thank you, Adam. Okay, Daniel.
Hi, Daniel. Where are you from? What year are you?
Hi, yeah, so I am from Pleasanton, California, here next to San Francisco, and I am a first-year master's student. I finished my undergrad at Juilliard with Wayne DeVos, and and I also went to Interlochen, by the way, for high school.
Fantastic.
Senior year, yeah.
Wow, me too. Did you study with Mr. Stolper?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, wasn't he just one of the best?
Yeah, legendary.
We were very fortunate to have him as a teacher. He's sorely missed. Okay, well, enough reminiscing. Let's get down to it. Gonna play some orchestral excerpts, I see.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to start with Tchaikovsky Symphony No. 4, second movement.
Excellent. Let's hear it. Oh, great. All right. At the beginning, I didn't know how it was going to go the first couple of measures. And then after that, it was like, it became more beautiful by the second. So bravo to you. This is a tricky one. And I can't be completely honest. I'll be completely honest and say that I still haven't completely figured. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever figure this one out, but it's for me, it's a particularly challenging excerpt. So I think you certainly don't make it sound challenging, though. It sounds very, very fluid and great. Why don't you try it again and just don't think about phrasing it so much. Just play it. Just try it once and just play it down. Like, A little bit more lyrical, as it says in the description.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. Great. There's a in our pure desire and virtuous one, I may also add, to be expressive, there's a tendency to add nuance in places that don't always need the nuance, because it's like, I'm gonna do this or do that, I'm gonna, I really feel it this way, but a lot of times the music wants something else, so just don't be too musical. Try one more time, and there's no need. You know what I mean? Just play the line. Okay, good. So I get a little bit of a swell. It's that's all you need to worry about. Sorry. Even then, too much on the A. Put a little on accent mark. It's not really that big of a importance there. Play it less. Okay, good. Thank you, Daniel. Wonderful. It sounds that one little change made a big difference. Now try it again and don't move at all. Your body language, it's like what I'm hearing, I'm seeing also. And what I'm hearing and what the thing that's lining up is what I don't like. So try it one time, completely still. It's not like, the beauty of it is the simplicity. You know what I mean? I think that Mr. Izotov has a wonderful video describing how it should be done. I completely agree with everything he says. And it's not, don't gild the lily. Don't, just play a line. Don't play a series of swells. Mm-hmm. Okay, good, perfect. That was much better. Okay, now we're gonna elevate it tastefully. Use a little vibrato there. Then less. And then start less again. See, the beauty of piano, the oboe sounds best when it's played piano dolce. And that's actually the sound that carries the most. And it's the most difficult to accomplish. So just try, try and play a little bit less and with more intensity in the sound. Don't give it all away. Mm-hmm. You're accenting the A again. Okay, sorry, Daniel. Give it a little bit. Please warm that first note up with a little bit of vibrato. Sounds like. How about this? I hate it. I hate it when my teachers would say, "Would you sing this for me?" But would you sing this for me, Daniel? Okay, you're singing it the same way as you played it. Just play it, it's like, imagine that you are, because obviously you are an incredibly talented, successful, artistic individual. And I mean, that's obvious with where you are, who you've studied with, your numerous accomplishments, we know that you're a musical, okay? So now it's like this thing, studying some music by French Baroque composer Francois Couperin. And there's something they would talk about in this time period where sprezzatura. This continues to this day. You have it's particularly in Italy, around the world, you have these guys that dress very outlandishly. But the whole point of it didn't arrive as a form of dress; it was a whole attitude. But basically, you're so put together, but it has to look like you just threw it on. Okay, and right now I'm feeling every crease with the iron. I'm feeling everything, just forget it. Just play it. Don't labor over every single note. Stop. Good. That was one phrase. Dee da da dee da deem dee dum. That's it. Not dee da da dee da deem dee dum. Just play it straight. Straight forward. Just constant motion forward. Okay, good. So this part here, da, 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 dee, da, whatever you just played, don't crescendo there at all. Okay? That was a lot better. That sounded good. Very good. Okay. For you, I would encourage you to. So there's the whole thing about vibrato, right? And I'm sure you've heard before. There are many different types of vibrato, not just there's non-vibrato, fast, slow, in between, this sort of thing. I could use, not that I want you to play with a constant vibrato, but when there is a tension release or things like this, it would be nice to have the weight sort of assured with a little bit of vibrato. Could you try to get just everything you did just again? Remember, a nice analogy that I was told once that I think about frequently is, imagine, at the airport when you're flying to where you'll be flying, wherever you're flying after the virus is over. It has a moving walkway, right? When you go in the terminal, the next place, and it's a bzzz, and people walking, kind of, and then you get on, it's and suddenly you're moving, this momentum. Imagine when you begin, it's as soon as you start, you're on the moving walkway, and the moving walkway is your air. It just keeps going. And what happens when we get off the moving walkway? So you feel like gravity again, right? And I feel that, it's gravity again a lot in your flying. So keep the moving walkway. Try one more time. Right away. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, Daniel, good. One more time. Your physical movements are interfering. Sit up straight and try it again. Don't move so much. Bravo. That was really good. That was so much better. Bravo. Okay, now do that again, and I want you to really think of something just profoundly beautiful and be liberated. You got it now. That's the skeleton. Now I want you to take a second, breathe, exhale, whatever, and put yourself out of this scenario and into something else, like whatever it is you have to do. And I want you, to feel that and put that out there. This is all you. Okay? This is the big moment. You're ready. Bravo. That was beautiful. Excellent.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel. Hi, Quinton.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm good. I'm enjoying this very much. So where are you from? What year are you? Tell me about yourself.
Okay. I grew up in a suburb north of Dallas in Fort Worth, Texas, and I got my undergrad at University of Texas at Austin with Andrew Parker, and now I'm a master's student in my first year studying with Russ.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, and you're gonna play. Since we're kind of running out of time, would you rather play round 1 or 2?
1 would be better.
Awesome. Let's do it. Bravo. Bravo. Beautiful. Okay. Let me find the music here, just so I have measure numbers. Okay. So did you go back? Oh, here it is. All right. Start with the first bit of it. Will you try one more time? And this one, it's like so. The way it begins, it's like, I don't care how cold of an individual you are in the audience, you're going to be affected by the opening of this movement. Like it's the lushness.
It's not particularly cold individual, at least so far.
No, not you.
yet,
I'm
yeah.
not saying that it's
Not
not
yet.
you. I'm just saying this music is so profound that like you could give it to like, just the worst of the worst, and if they're human, they should hopefully be big. I don't know. Maybe my point is it's really beautiful, and the way that the strings begin, it really gives this carpet, this lush, like world of orange rose tinted sunglasses. So when you finally come in, I think of this as almost like it's like a lullaby, but not really. It's like words. It's like a words lullaby, So try one more time. I love your sound, beautiful vibrato, beautiful line. See if you can connect the notes even more. Play over the bar line and just start super quiet and imagine you're holding something very precious and very fragile, and that's how you should begin.
Okay.
Good. Okay. So when you get to the F sharp, no crescendo. And still no crescendo. And if you're going to do anything, just emphasize the that's the importance, okay. I think, be there. All right, bravo. Stop now. Now, beautiful until you got to the D sharp. Once you got to the D sharp, you swelled to the E. To keep the same purity. Simple. It's just very simple. Okay, good. Now when you get to the E, don't change anything with the air. Just spin the sound a little bit. Your air speed intensified, which caused the sound to get a little bit less beautiful. Okay, try one more time. And then say with the very first note, it's like come in from nothing. Just come in from nothing. Bravo, bravo, bravo. Bravo. Okay, so the first two iterations of that little thing, I thought was perfect. A slight intensification of the second one, I liked. But another trick of the trade, crescendo printed in the final one, climactic high B natural. I recommend go down, just play soft. So the next B flat. And then subito. Okay. Sorry, no crescendo, no crescendo.
Okay.
Pure. Bravo, that was great. Okay, let's talk about the high B natural and the high A. Slightly, a little high, okay? That's the tendency for everybody when he plays this. So in order to compensate for that, imagine you open your throat, everything open here, and you're a singer. You don't want to go, find the resonance in your body, okay? Ground yourself. Like think the feet have the roots into the ground and open the throat for the B natural, get the pitch down. And the A is also sharp, so be careful for that. Why don't you go whatever the notes are from there. One more time. So don't push the sound. No, no Lothar cock. No like just let it ring. Let it bring the listener to you. Don't force it down their throat. Bravo. That's great. You did such an improvement, in my opinion. Bravo. Okay, next solo. Okay, sorry, stop. So this one, it's like, I would encourage you to practice. I practice long tones sometimes, and it's really good to just practice like half whole D, then chromatic down, and then chromatic up, the long tones, and start from nothing. You know, it's like Tabito used to, I heard, have like a tube cane, put the reed in it, and you just practice like from 1 to 10, back down to 1. This flexible control. The whole like beauty of a long scrape reed is to have the flexibility of a wide range of dynamics that are pretty immediate. You know, you change the position of the reed and create different colors. And I'm hearing your ability to do that dynamically, but there's so many more colors that you can do. You know, like start sort of pale. You know what I mean? And transform. That way you're never just playing a note that's like a laser pitch. You know, one sort of, you can tell a story, you know, with one note. Okay, good. You're gonna be great with that. Let's go after. Why don't you try one more time and then keep going?
All right.
Okay, good. All right, I have a couple comments about this. I think of this like this. Forgive me that I can't demonstrate because of the zoomy thing, but not dee da dee da dee da. That's really difficult because the clarinet's playing there, and it's always a little bit hard to get as high as they are. But so you have to be conscious about those last few notes. Why don't you try that one more time? What I don't want to hear is dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da dee da dee da dee dee da 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 dee da da dee da dee da. You know, this sort of thing. Find a way to group it. Sorry, less. Okay, good. That was much better. Except make sure that last measure, it's piano. Brahms writes piano. Okay, so and it's no longer solo. That's no longer solo. We need to know when we're the main event and when we're not the main event. And this is a it's nothing important. No one cares. Don't be like, that's me. They're gonna say this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Okay, next thing. Oboe players and wind players in general have a tendency, myself, I'm a great example of someone who does this, is I want to make the solo all about me. I'm going to play, play long and stretch things out, always taking time, but never giving time. A little trick that I like to do here is anticipate the B natural off the C. That's the cool note. Something I thought of that really. Yeah, so why don't you try? You don't have to go too far, but you might get a little wink from the conductor if you spice it up like something, tastefully from time to time. Bravo. Great. I like that. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How are we doing with time?
We're just about out of time for the playing part, and if we can spend the next few minutes. Thank you, Quinton. And
thank you. Thank you, Will.
To everyone who played, for sure.
Bravo.
So let's just chat for a few minutes. So does anyone have any questions for Welter?
Can you hear me?
Belinda.
Belinda. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah?
Yes.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm just very curious to know just how your experience has been so far. It's obviously like what an honor that you have. It just sounds so exciting, but also probably very overwhelming to you, just given your age. I think we're about the same age. Yeah, I'm just very curious to know how it's all going.
Yeah, I would be happy to talk about that. Yeah, it is a tremendous honor, and yeah, I mean, I pinch myself, wow, it's interesting, when I first won the job, it was a complete shock, and I was constantly reaching out to my uncles, Uncle Eugene and Uncle Rob, and other uncles and grandpas, things like this too, and searching for any kind of kernel of wisdom. And actually, something that comes to mind was a time that Uncle Eugene and I shared in Santa Barbara a couple summers ago, when he was so kind and supportive after I had won the job, that we spent a summer together to prepare me, and had many great lessons and master classes and dinners. And there's something, I was clearly still high off the win of this, because it's huge. But he said something to me that's like, yeah, but at the end of it, after all this stuff, the dust clears, you're going to realize, like, life will come back, like life will be life. And I'm experiencing this sort of thing now. We're like, okay, now the shock of a bazillion concerts and music I never played before, it's starting to wear off, and now it's like life is, the responsibilities will continue, and things are continuing like that. But yeah, no, it's very overwhelming, but the adrenaline certainly gets you through at least the probation period. And now I'm really at a point where I'm starting to feel more comfortable on stage with my colleagues in a way that we played so much chamber music together over the past year, and I know how to predict a lot more, knowing people's playing and how to contribute and fall back. I think it's getting a lot more comfortable, and I'm really looking forward to rejoining as a full orchestra soon. But yeah, what life was like after getting it and actually joining the orchestra, for me, it was completely monastic, like living alone with still, better conditions, but like not better, like as far as more time in the oboe. Suddenly it's like you get paid to do nothing but oboe, which I love. It's fantastic. It's just nothing but reads and studying and practicing and performing. It's absolutely awesome. And I hope everyone has the pleasure of experiencing that. For me, it was a lot of score studying and listening to music, because it's a bunch of music that you've never played before. And yeah, but with a great conductor and amazing colleagues, it's a good support system.
I just have to, I'll answer on your behalf a little bit. One of the very first times we spoke after you got the job in Chicago, which was after your second summer at the academy, and you were just still very much at the beginning of this transition to, from student mode to professional mode. And one of the first things you said was something that I relate to very, very clearly, is you said, I can afford to eat anything I want to, which is, it's it was very genuine, but it's something that I completely relate to, because I also got a job. I was very young, and I made the transition very rapidly from being a student to boom, you're on the big stage, and you can actually afford to buy anything you want for dinner, which was very kind of a shocking experience at first. So
completely, and this is one of the great, Mr. Izotov, as I'm sure many of you know, is a complete gourmand, and he transmitted this love of haute cuisine to me, and it's a source of inspiration musically as well. Like anything that stimulates the senses, it's like, wow, that's so delicious. Now play Brahms Violin Concerto and remember this piece of Escolar.
Quentin, you also had a question? You raised your hand.
Yeah, so I remember we've had conversations about how like the hall that each orchestra plays in shapes how the group sounds in one way or another. Philadelphia has theirs, Boston has theirs, and he talks about Chicago, and I remember at one point he said that like he like gave you an instrument that I think is a low A Royale or something to use, or
Sorry, who are you talking about? Who?
Eugene, or is there? Am I crazy? I might be. Wait.
No, you're not crazy, but
Oh.
there's. I did have a low A Royale that I sent it. I didn't get it, and I sent it back.
Oh.
Mr.
Well, I was gonna
Isotov
ask.
did sell me an instrument, and it was like a prolonged period. It was like he lent it to me, and then I paid over. It became mine over a period of time, and that was the oboe that I played. Not in the first round of the audition, but second round of the audition, and during my first season, I played primarily that instrument. But that was that was a 125.
So I was like wondering, in addition to like a different instrument, what did you find that you changed with your reeds to accommodate the hall that Chicago plays in?
Well, when I got to Chicago, I did not know how to make reeds at all. I mean, I was a complete disgrace to everything that all you fine players have wonderful reeds. But it is continuing to be a work in progress. But I was just reflecting with one of my colleagues about this transition. It's like I got there and as a student, I didn't even have a gouging machine until like my senior year, and even then it wasn't a great gouging machine, and it was mostly borrowed cane from other people, this sort of thing. So finding like a gouge that actually worked, and I remember I got an old Wohlfeld machine that was sort of it came into my possession, and I had a small amount of really good cane that I was saving for like the first few weeks of the season, and I gouged it all in this machine. And I had another Chris Philpotts. He's the wonderful English horn player in Cincinnati. He helped me a tremendous amount with reeds during my past couple years when I was art diploma at Oberlin, and then my first couple of years in the symphony. I would go up and take reed lessons from him like all the time, and so I knew that maybe if I lucked out, I'd go make reeds with him with this cane. And so I tied all my best cane on this machine, and I realized it was like 59 in the middle and like 53 on the sides, and we're both sitting there like scraping this stuff, and it's like, yeah, it's great cane, but nothing works. So I ended up, I left my trip to be set up with reeds completely empty-handed, and I ended up making reeds for my first like couple months of playing on like old RDG cane that I found in my desk, and it was horrible. So, but I mean, now you get used to it, and instrument wise, I've been switching a lot with instruments I play. I have a wide variety of oboes that I play for different things, and like I've been playing Amerigo M2 for most of this year for a lot of chamber music and things like that, and I have Royales, standard Loré, and my newest oboe is a very, very old Loré, but it's more of a hobby. So I don't know. I play what I feel works at the time, and that sort of changes.
It's not true what you said about you knowing, quote unquote, nothing about reeds, but I think it speaks very highly about what happens when you make the transition from just being a student and getting to any orchestra, especially with an orchestra that puts out this amount of sound as the Chicago Symphony. And also, don't you find, Will, that what you want out of reeds, like what you consider to be good, quote unquote, sort of changes? Because first you sort of want to sound good and just, can I please sound good so I can go have dinner, stop making reeds or go to sleep. Then I find for myself that then you want certain things built into it, certain ease and stability and whatever. And then finally, once you've mastered that, then you sort of want it to last and not change. With every time.
Totally. And actually, just recently, I feel like I like these things. It's like, wow, that's a very good read, and then that's another very good read, and that suddenly becomes more normal, and then those very good reads get even better. But I do want to say something. I don't know, maybe I'm completely off base here, but I can't overemphasize the importance of high quality cane. I made so many reads on cane that was less than ideal, and if you can find a very good cane, just get as much as you can, because I really think that once you find a good cane, the good reads, they seem to come and they last.
When you find some, let me know.
I bought all of it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I don't have any.
Daniel, Adam, Jini, or Russ?
Yeah, I have a sort of a two-part question. It's pretty broad, I guess, but first, maybe you could give us some advice on audition preparation in general, and the second part is specifically what do you do to get in the mental, preparation for that moment when you're, on the room or the stage behind the screen and it's complete silence and it's time to, deliver.
Well, first disclaimer: 90% of everything that I will say I learned from either Mr. Izotov, Mr. Welters. I mean, these guys are the great audition preparation minds of our community here. But for me, it was very much there. I followed like a very regimented schedule of practicing at least 2 to 4 hours a day, and then I would spend at least 2 to 4 hours in the library also studying scores, and I had 2 binders. One binder filled with the excerpts, and then another binder filled with the scores. So I spent a lot of time in the library finding, get the pocket score Xerox or whatever it's called, the photocopy, and then compile lots of tapes. They thought I was a nut. And then you have a binder. And then I studied the music, like 5 different recordings or more. I usually find the good recording that I like the most and study and find how it's going, and like, oh, the bass, they fits here and crescendo, this sort of thing. So a lot of psychological preparation in that regard, finding a way to internalize the music. Chris Philpotts, my good friend, told me when he was preparing for his job in Cincinnati, he made a CD. He spliced all these excerpts together, just the part that's the excerpt, not the whole piece. And he put it in his car. He just listened to it on repeat wherever he was. I did something a little bit like that after that. On iTunes, you can edit the recording, so suddenly you have Audition playlist, and it's like 3 minutes long, and suddenly you hit everything. Okay, and you can get a lot of miles out of that. Psychological preparation. I didn't drink alcohol. Not that you can win an audition while drinking, maybe not while drinking, but you can be drinking for up to an audition. But I didn't. I mean, undergrad, I like to indulge myself in all kinds of fun, and I totally said no. I'm not going to indulge myself in any kind of fun. I'm going to make myself as miserable as possible. It reminds me of there's that video of, I don't know, when I was a student, Mr. Izotov was in Chicago, and there was a video of him, and Leon Wong was in New York Philharmonic, and he had recently got that. It was all over the YouTube back then, and I remember there's a video of him, and he's like, I locked myself in the closet for 30 hours a day and practiced with like my great grandma's sweater over something like this, like making yourself as miserable as possible. I'm a firm believer in that. So no alcohol. I stopped drinking coffee. I've recently started again. That's a little like this, but
welcome back, Will.
Thank you. It's good. But no coffee, no alcohol. And then I would do these like meditation apps every day. And God, you end up feeling so aware and just like comfortable. And so then there's that. Mock auditions, did a lot of mock auditions, recording myself, like would do 3 or 4 runs of an entire list, have friends out in the audience. You guys are lucky you're in school, you have a hall, have your friends buy them coffee or something. But you you have coffee now before the audition. So then you go out and play the whole list, and they say, this time Strauss Concerto, then Strauss Concerto, and then excerpts, and they call it simulate the audition, flight simulation. This is very important. So then the following morning in the shower or whatever, I'm blasting my voice memos here and back, like Pulcinell's like, oh man, I swelled there. That's not good. That's too loud. So constantly just like 24-hour, 12-hour immersion in this preparation experience. Eventually you get to a point where the product you're presenting, the planning has been done, and you are aware of how your physicality will affect what's coming out of the oboe. Eventually you reach a point of it isn't very flattering, because it's like, oh, I still don't sound as good as I want, but you know when you play something how it's going to translate. Once you reach that point, progress can start. So then you can systematically cure different issues, and you can fix things until your idea is happening, okay? So once that happens, you continue the mock audition process until there's no problems, okay? Then, day of the audition, noise canceling headphones, always for me. The preparation would continue even as much as like going on Google Images, looking at the hall from this street view, looking at the hall from this street view, taking pictures at the first round, like of the stage, looking up, familiarizing yourself with the scenario, with the scene. The water fountain's here, the men's room here, the ladies' room is here, this sort of thing. And then when I get to the audition, I would isolate myself. And when it's time to prepare, my regiment was basically only long tones, and maybe starting the first couple notes of all the slow, delicate excerpts. And I have a reed, you wait for 2 hours or whatever, every 10 minutes you take it out, just see if you can play a low D, this piano, then put the reed back and you're ready. Ready? Okay, if the responses are good, then you go on stage and you just do what you practiced. And that's it. If you win, fine. If you don't win, if you advance, whatever, you do what you practiced. And if you do what you practiced, then you've been a success. And to quote Mr. Gandhi, full effort is full victory. So just be confident that you did what you prepared. Don't worry about anything else, because I sure did not think that I was going to dance on any of them. But I had been doing this preparation where it's like, I'm going to do what I practiced. Did the practice, and then suddenly it's like, well, I can't, nothing wrong with that. I'll do another one. But so many times before I had come to this point of teachers sharing this progression with me, it was like, okay, I'm going to practice kind of chaotically on my own. And ultimately you show up somewhere and you hope you're feeling good and you give it all you got. And it's like, I'm going to just try really hard and say, oh, it didn't work. That's not the way. You have to practice and expect a result.
Good advice. Okay, go ahead, Jini.
I have like two different questions. One is like, do you mind if I ask you how many auditions you've taken before you won the job?
I don't mind at all. Let's see, I took Buffalo, Principal Oboe the first time. And it was my first audition. I advanced. It was a huge mistake. They should never have advanced me. But that was the first one. And then I took no more. I took Pittsburgh Associate Principal Oboe audition and got a trial with them. It didn't work out. I wasn't ready. If it doesn't work out, you're not ready. That's the answer. It's not meant to be, whatever. And then I took a few after that and didn't advance in anything. And it was like, I took San Francisco Associate Principal audition, the recent one. I took, I think I took something in St. Louis, maybe for assistant principal. One Phil Ross one. I took that one. That's right. And that was it. And then I took LA Phil. I took LA Phil, the one that Ramon won. I took that one before I got Chicago. And then I took Chicago Advanced. And then there was a month off. And I took Philly the time Nathan Hughes was a finalist before Philippe. Didn't win that, obviously. Then ended up winning Chicago. And then the Philly did a different audition later. And I did an audition for that. But after it got Chicago, I stopped taking auditions. There was I did an audition at St. Paul. Never mind. I played there, but I didn't audition there. So I don't know.
You had a 1-year position there, didn't you?
Yeah, it was just sort of like I subbed there and they offered me a 1-year position, but I didn't end up taking it.
I remember that conversation.
Can I ask?
Why did you ask, Jini?
Because I haven't taken any auditions and I was wondering when is like a good time to take an audition.
You're ready. I don't know. Sounds great.
Thank you.
Was that the other question, Jini? When is the good time?
Yeah, and then I have another one if it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I know you've like taken lessons with Mr. Izotov and Mr. Walters and Mr. Woodhams at Curtis. And what do you do when when all teachers have like different ideas in some ways? Like, sometimes I get confused when I have like master classes or get lessons with someone else.
That's a good question. And okay, I just want to go out there and say, I studied with these people, but I also studied in my imagination with a lot of other players that maybe they live halfway around the world or they're dead. And I think, okay, there's two the challenge with the oboe is that how do we play the oboe, right? It's like, are you going to play the oboe this way, or read like this, or read like, that's the problem. Once you subscribe to a vehicle, and it's like, okay, I'm going to listen to Mr. Izotov, I'm going to make my reads this way, I'm going to play the oboe this way. But then when you have people that give the master class, you listen to the European players or violinists or other American players, whatever, you can just listen to music. You want to get to a point where you're not worried about the oboe. You're not worried about instrumental, it's very important because it's the vehicle, it's the voice. But try to free yourself from that and try to think like a conductor. Obviously we're not conductors, but think about music from that perspective. Practice the oboe away from the oboe. Look at the score and feel it. Try to wow, that affected me. I listened to this recording, it affected me. I want to listen again. It's like a great cup of coffee. Like, wow, I feel so good. The music, why is that? How can I learn to do that? How can I break it down and apply that to my own playing so I can make that magic happen? And Mr. Izotov talks about candies. Like, you want to add more candies to your drawer. So, you don't have to, if Heinz Holliger comes and gives a master class, you don't have to go and play like the oboe like Heinz Holliger, but there's a lot to learn, in music. It doesn't have to conflict. Mr. Izotov shared with me that Olivier Stankiewicz had come and given a master class and said, all the musical ideas were so good. So it's just a different vehicle, but the same. It's the same. We're all speaking the same language. So free yourself from being an oboe slave and enter artistic life. That's my answer for you.
Thank you.
I think that's really good advice, and it's sort of I'm very touched that somebody not only so nice as you, but somebody as successful as you, and somebody as young as you speaks about these things and in a way that's just very, very sincere, and I think very simple to understand, because we all know that we can get sucked into the oboe thing, and that's a road that can turn us into reed makers, gougists, and cane selectors, and ultimately that's not nearly as interesting. So I think we need to say thank you to Will Welter for spending all this very wonderful time with us.